You have too many interests. Just pick one and focus. Sounds familiar, right? If you've ever been told something like this or something similar, you know how frustrating it is. But what if having multiple interests isn't a weakness, but a strength? I believe that being a multi passionate is a gift. Being somebody that knows so many things and can do so many things is a gift. And that is only if you know how to manage your time effectively. Studies show that people that have multiple interests often bring a different perspective and creativity to their work. And so the challenge isn't about choosing one thing. The challenge is about managing your time effectively so you can pursue your multiple interests without burnout or without losing productivity and efficacy. So some time back, I used to struggle with this same thing, jumping from one interest to the other. Is it I'm learning a new tool or learning a new skill? And I used to jump from one thing to the other. And that made me start feeling guilty. Like, why am I just doing all these things? Why can't I just focus on one thing and just pursue one thing? But the truth of the matter is, I can't change that inherent nature in me. I have multiple interests. I want to know a lot of things. I want to learn a lot of things. So I learned how to manage my time strategically so I could pursue all these interests without burning out and without losing effectiveness in the main thing that I was pursuing. So instead of just leaving everything else on the side and focusing on one thing, I created a system, a strategic system that helped me explore different interests at different times. And the truth of the matter is, not every interest I have explored is a source of income for me. So there are certain things that I do just for the fun of it and not necessarily because I intend to monetize that skill or that knowledge. And I feel like that is one of the problems that some people have. They feel that everything they learn or everything they are involved in, everything they are passionate about has to become an added source of income. No, it doesn't have to. You can pursue certain things just for the interest. Truth of the matter is, if you try to monetize that knowledge, it might add to the burden you're already feeling. It might add to the overwhelm you're already feeling. So pursue your interests basically because they are interests, and then maybe separate the things that you want to monetize from the things that you would just pursue as interest and leave it at that. That's one way you can prevent that burnout. That's one way I have found that is helping me. So I think it might help you as well if you would want to consider that approach. So basically, let me list them out in points because I feel like I've already touched on them, but let me just list them out in points so that you can take note of the practical steps or strategies to help you compartmentalize, if you want to put it that way. So the first one is prioritize your interests. So I'm interested in learning pottery. Yeah, I'm interested in creative stuff, like stuff that you do with your hands, like decor elements, painting, and what else? Drawing. I'm interested in all those artsy stuff. Yeah, but I haven't pursued all of them at once. When I was younger, I used to draw with my pen and paper, pencil and paper, and all of that. But right now, I'm drawing digitally using my laptop. And since I've realized that I can do that on my laptop, I can draw on my laptop. That's one interest that I'm pursuing. Doing some design, some illustrations, and now I'm even using ChatGPT to prompt certain illustrations just because I like to draw and. And then this year I set out that I'm going to learn pottery, and I've been looking for a space. It's just that where I am currently, I haven't found any space that would give me that leverage to do that. But I am towards the end of the year. It's a target for this year to just go and do pottery. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. Imagine if I had decided to do all these things together, like all this creative artsy stuff together. I wouldn't really get fulfillment, yeah, because I'll just be jumping from, okay, I've done digital drawing now, let's go to, or illustrations, let's now move to this one. But no, I'm taking my time. I'm taking my time to fully enjoy everything that particular skill has to offer before I move on to the next. So prioritize your skills like that, prioritize your interests like that, and I believe that it will help you. Then secondly, find overlaps. So I design sometimes, not all the time, but I design products, I design websites and mobile apps. The tool that I use, that's Figma. It now has this option to draw. Thank you, Figma, for the update. Before this update came, we were already drawing on Figma, yeah. But then Figma now decided to include that, really include that in. You can check out the updates if you're interested in design and drawing. Now, that tool that I use to design products I can now use that tool to draw. It's an overlap. So if I'm working on a project and I feel like there are certain illustrations that I want to put in that project, I can just draw it. So that's an overlap. And then just find ways basically that this your interest can overlap. I found an overlap between design and writing. So when I'm writing for somebody and I need to include pictures, I need to include illustrations, because of my interest in design and because of my knowledge of design, I'm able to select the best pictures. I'm able to select the the illustrations that really depict what the client is looking for. And sometimes when it comes to branding, logo, and all of that, because I understand how all these things, like based on the brief that I'm given, I'm able to create something, illustrate something that tells the brand story while still drafting, like writing out the brand story and everything. So that's like an overlap for me. I found that intersection. Yeah. So find overlaps between your interests. Thirdly, you need to try to use the power hour technique. So I used to read, but the truth of the matter is I'm not a fast reader. I read really slowly. Yeah. I like to take my time. You can say more or less that I'm counting the words, but that's how slow I read. Yeah. So a book that would normally take somebody maybe 2 days or 3 days to read, it would take me like a week to read that book and fully understand the concepts in that book. So because an hour every day, which is usually towards the end of the day, to read a book. And I found that those times that I set aside to read, I set out. Then of course you need to set clear boundaries. Let's be honest, we need money, right? And most of what we do, even though you're passionate about that thing, you're really doing it because you want to make money from that skill or that knowledge or that service that you have to offer, right? So you need to set clear boundaries because you're a multi-passionate person, you have multiple interests, so you need to set clear boundaries. Otherwise, those interests that are not really giving you as much money will overshadow the ones that are your money bag. So you need to set clear boundaries between these two. Okay, when it gets to this time, I will make sure that I focus on my principal interest. That's what's bringing the money. That's what's providing for me. I'm going to focus on that. And you have all of that set out. You have all of that written down, so you do not lose focus. And then finally, just like I was saying, not every interest has to be a career. You do not have to make money from it. You can just do it because you love doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of those interests that I pursue that do not necessarily give me money. And some people do not understand why you're doing that. This thing is not giving you money. Why do you take your time to do it and all of that? It's because I am genuinely interested in those activities. So being a multi-passionate is not a flaw, my darling. It is a feature. Just know how to manage your time, set your priorities right, and you'll be just fine. Yeah, so if you have other ways you cope with your multiple interests, please let us know in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video and my other videos with someone who you think it might help. So until next time, see you in the next video.